Is while I was getting my hair done this morning, I was having a conversation with a young lady, and we were talking about generational curses and how it impacts the family and the future of the kids and going forward, and how it impacts the family as a whole. And I thought about, we talked about marriage and how it impacts marriages as well and other relationships. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like that, my thoughts on generational curses is that, you have to be careful and make sure that you deal with that generational curse because sometimes if you don't deal with that generational curse, the same thing that you saw your mom and your dad went through or in their marriage, then when it's time for you to become married, then you will find out that same curse will end up being on you.
And now that you're married, do you have any concerns on how you feel like any generational curses would impact your future with your spouse or with your family?
Well, no, I feel like, we don't really have a lot of generational curses in our family besides health issues, like high blood pressure or being diabetes. But for anything for being in an abusive relationship, my mom and my dad have been married for 40 years. Yeah, they have their ups and downs. And in the midst of everything, I thank the Lord that, I watched I had an opportunity to be in the midst of a wonderful, uh, healthy relationship as husband and wife because it gave me an opportunity and a glimpse, a moment that I can see, what a real marriage is supposed to be like.
So in your seeing what a real marriage is supposed to be like, tell me about some of the experiences that you saw that you feel like would be helpful to another married couple or to with your marriage.
Well, one thing that I did see is as a young kid growing up, me and my other brothers, we saw that how, they treated each other, they respected one another, and how even when they had arguments, it was more or less sarcastic arguments where they laughed and giggled, but it wasn't no drawn out spit fest, and they always came back to resolve and have a resolution, so that again, it didn't always end up into being a big family feud. So I learned to simply understand that it's okay to agree to disagree in any situation. However, make sure that you continue to show respect and love towards one another when it comes to marriage.
I noticed that one of the things about your family is that you all are really close. Do you think that it's because of your parents and the relationship that they have that causes the rest of your family to be as close as it is?
Well, I feel that one of the major impacts that's on our family of us being close and is having a relationship with Christ. When we have a relationship with Christ, it makes everything better. And because my mom and my dad had a relationship with Christ, that was something that we were able to see a godly relationship. And because we were able to see a godly relationship and a godly marriage, then that's what we wanted. We didn't want anything for abuse or divorce or anything like that. What we wanted is the same thing that they had. And that's one thing that all young children should want. If they have a healthy relationship in front of them, they're going to always want what they see.
So most kids, if they see that healthy relationship, they're going to want to be a part of that healthy relationship going forward.
Exactly, because see what happens is young kids tend to act out what they see from the parents and the mother and father. If they see them being an alcoholic,
growing up watching, what were some of your fondest memories or thoughts of your seeing your parents together and as they grew up?
As we grew up, one thing that I love that seeing together is the fact that they did things together. We did things as a family. We sat at the table eating dinner as a family. We talked and we read the Bible together and we watched TV together as a family. And they always, we saw them hug, we saw them kiss, we heard them tell each other how much they loved each other. And it wasn't just them going through the motions or just saying it, but you can see their body language and tell that they really meant what they said. And no matter what situation or struggle that we went through, we always knew that each one of them had each other's back. So that's the type of marriage when it was my time to get married. That's something that I knew that I wanted. I was wanting the same thing that I saw in my parents. I wanted that same type of relationship.
And what part do you play in ensuring that you have someone of that same type of positive relationship?
Well, my role is simply just to make sure that on my end, making sure that I treat the woman in my life, who God has placed in my life, with respect, making sure that I love her as Christ loved her, and basically being there for her no matter what.
Okay. And how will you carry that on to your children?
Well, when it comes down to carrying it on to our children, it's mainly just to let them know how to treat a woman and how to be respectful and how to be a godly man. Because one thing that this world right now lacks is healthy relationships when it comes to marriage. And one thing I see now when I look on TV is a lot of different things about how there's more divorce now. Divorce rates are up higher than it's ever been. Every time you look on TV, you're seeing different things that is causing more divorce. And a lot of things that we have to do is we have to teach our young kids because, again, if we don't teach them, then it's going to always be broken homes and broken relationships and broken young kids who don't have someone to look up to, just like we had someone to look up to.
Do you think that ties back into those generational curses for other people or for those people who do experience divorce more frequently?
Well, I do feel like, that generational curses do tie back into it because, again, sometimes if your grandfather was alcoholic, it may have tied on to your dad being an alcoholic and vice versa, the son may be an alcoholic. And, again, any generational curse can be changed. It just depends on that person being able to make up in their mind if they want to change.
And in what ways do you think that marital generational curses can be broken?
Simply by being around a healthy marriage. Couples who are in a healthy relationship where you see them loving each other and they have Christ as being the head and the center of their relationship, and they have to be taught, even if they go to and have counseling, or if they have a moment to be around someone that can basically influence them or be a great impact on their lives and help them have a fresh start at giving them a different perspective on what it means to be in a healthy relationship.
Now that you're married, do you find yourself giving out advice or encouragement to other couples or to other men?
I do it all the time. One thing I do is I simply, if I see, like examples, there's a young man on my job, and I know that he has just got married. He's been married for about 3 months, and every time that we conversate, we always talk, and I thank the Lord that He gives me
with his marriage?
Because he has a 2-year-old son, so now it will help him as being a newlywed that he will be able to take that same information and be able to teach his son how to know, and he can be able to implement it in his marriage. And then also, again, he can also teach his young son how to be an awesome husband when that time comes.
Okay. Well, I thank you for taking out the time to talk with me. I appreciate it. I know it was a little difficult for you, but I do appreciate your time.
Anytime.